This is Colin Dixon with nScreenMedia, and I'm at Verizon Media talking to Ariff, Sidi, who is Chief Product Officer for Verizon Media.
That's right.
And Ariff, you were handling a lot of the streaming tasks for Super Bowl Sunday, right?
That's right.
So tell us what you were doing.
Yeah, so the media platform team here at Verizon Media, we were the primary streaming provider and also one of the main CDNs that Fox and Yahoo Sports was using to deliver this amazing event this past weekend.
And I was a big user of both of those streams,
Great.
and they looked great. So
Awesome.
why don't you tell us, how did you go about provisioning this event? It was an enormous event. How did you go about setting up for it?
Yeah, it is a massive event that the team across both our streaming platform and the CDN team has been planning for and working towards for many, many months. We deliver a lot of high traffic events on a regular basis for a variety of customers, but when you think about how streaming is just continuing to grow organically and becoming a primary means of people consuming content, and then you combine that with the Super Bowl, which by definition is one of the biggest events of the year, you have this confluence of events where things are just really coming together and exploding. And so we've spent a lot of time scaling up our infrastructure, working across the CDN to make sure that we have both the streaming capacity and the delivery capacity to achieve it. And just one data point, we ran multiple load tests on our streaming infrastructure over the last handful of months in preparation for the event, up to a point of like 11 million concurrents, which is a huge number. No one really in the U.S. has streamed at that level for a live broadcast event, and certainly we didn't see those numbers for the Super Bowl either. That wasn't the expectation, but we want to make sure that we're delivering a fantastic and reliable experience for our customers, and so we go above and beyond, all right, just to make sure that the infrastructure is ready to go.
So 11 million, you tested up to 11 million.
That's
well,
right.
You hit 3.4 million, which was pretty good. And
did.
I don't know, I was checking pretty closely. I saw no complaints, like we usually get lots of complaints about the streaming experience. I had a great streaming experience. So sounds like things went pretty well.
They did. We are really pleased. More importantly, both Fox and Yahoo Sports are very pleased. I think the entire industry is getting better at doing this as it becomes more mature. And I mentioned the 11 million concurrents that we tested to. We also build in multiple layers of redundancy. So in the inevitable when the inevitable happens, and in events like this, almost everyone will have a little blip somewhere in their ecosystem. We want to make sure that we can recover quickly, and Fox does as well, as does Yahoo Sports, and both of those organizations put multiple levels of redundancy and fallback plans in place, so that way, should something go wrong, everyone can recover and we have a smooth event. Not like you may have seen in past events where there has been,
Complete outages. Yeah.
Right? We don't want to have outages. We want everyone to have a good experience. It needs to work just as good as regular television.
I certainly didn't see that in my testing. Now, there was something unusual about this event, and that was you did 4K HDR all the way through, the whole way through. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so 4K HDR live streaming, we did 100% of that streaming workflow for Fox, and by the end of the game, we had 100% of the CDN traffic for, for 4K and HDR. So we're incredibly proud of that. A lot of work has gone into making that, real, and we are, I think, probably the only provider, streaming platform providers in the industry who are capable of doing that at this point. We were the only ones who can meet Fox's requirements for live 4K streaming with HDR.
And that's an enormous load, because it's probably 8 times the bandwidth of a normal stream, right?
Yeah. The bit rates that we were looking at for 4K and HDR, I think we were the highest bit rate that we may have had prepared in the system was something like 20 or 22 megabits per second, which is multiples larger than a standard 720p stream. And the fact that we were able to deliver that at scale, robustly, and at numbers actually that went above and beyond the internal estimates on both our side and on Fox's side is just a huge testament to the capability of the team that we have here.
Right. Yeah, sounds.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about performance. This was an unusual Super Bowl in that it stayed interesting pretty much the whole way through.
Yeah.
Is that how the load went on the network?
So it's really interesting. So the load characteristic very much varies based upon the excitement of the content. So you're absolutely right. What we saw on the day is sort of predictably, load kind of gradually increases. The number of concurrents are going up and up and up as you get close to kickoff time. And as you get very close to kickoff, we see a huge growth, a ramp up, an acceleration in the number of concurrents that are on the system. And then as the game progressed, it continues to just steadily grow and grow and grow and grow. And even during halftime, which was an amazing halftime show, we didn't see really any drop off in the growth rate of connections and sessions coming into the system. And certainly by the end of the game, which was an exciting game, again, continued growth towards the end. And then as the game ends, you see a drop off, right? It's not 100% drop off, but people are at their Super Bowl parties and they're hosting people and the game is over and they maybe sometimes turn to other things. Yeah. Or they stay on and they transition into amazing shoulder programming. I think Fox had on The Masked Singer after, and so we were delivering that right after the Super Bowl for them as well, so we can maintain that audience.
And I was pretty impressed with the join time. I noticed when I was watching through my browser on my PC, join times were like 2 seconds. It was like changing the channel.
Yeah, that's great to hear that you had a great experience. There's quite a bit goes into the startup time on video. It is obviously the stream provisioning and delivery and coming off of the CDN and all of the sort of the back end workflow bits play into that, but also how the clients are implemented, how the application is built, who built the application, what platform it's running on. All of those things, come into play when you're hitting play and that video starts up.
So and also latency, I found was 20 to 30 seconds I was seeing on my browser. Was that what you were targeting?
Yeah. So our platform.
Oh, I should say I was watching on a live over the air stream, not on a satellite stream, because I think it was only about 10 seconds
right, so your
behind
latency
on a satellite
comparison
stream.
to over the air. Yeah, so our platform is capable of going down to about 30 seconds in latency, and we provide the capability for our customers to decide where they want to be on that spectrum between the absolute lowest latency and what is sort of the standard latency or default latency that is kind of built into the platform. And so you see a little bit of variation. Our Yahoo Sports team, a little bit more aggressive on their latency settings. They dialed it a little bit further down. The Fox guys, rightly so, focus very much on scale and stability and, sort of tilting a little bit more towards that way. May make decisions to keep their latency a little bit more in the normal realm of latency, just to make sure the entire ecosystem works. Because when you're bringing that latency down, when you're turning that dial, you're stressing the entire system a little bit more, right? Content has to flow out of the pipeline out all the way to the edge CDN, just that much faster to make sure that the user is not getting what we call missing content slate and things like that. So sounds like you had a great experience, which was awesome. The thing that we're most excited about and most focused on is making sure that all the customers have a great experience. And so we want to give the power to our customers to be able to tune the system according to their needs and desires.
And it sounds like it was very successful, because I was checking and I did not see lots of people complaining on social media that things went well. Things went badly, rather, which must mean that things went pretty well. So congratulations.
Yes, thank you. As was I. I was also looking at social media because that's the first place to look when people are unhappy.
You bet.
And it seems like it was a great event. So we're pleased. The customer's happy. It's all smiles around here.
Well, Ariff, thanks for talking with us about this. I look forward to coming back and talking about the next major live event that you cover.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been Colin Dixon with nScreenNoise.